That's what a nose is for. My nose is a problem only if it cannot allow me to do what it is supposed to do. My mouth is a problem if I can't eat, if I can't talk. But the size of it, the shape of it cannot determine, that cannot be a problem for my mouth. Okay? So please, brothers, sisters, go in yourself. I'm sure all of you here have heard enough conferences. You've read enough books. You've seen a lot of things. What you don't have is you have not taken all of this in, kneaded down with your own experience. When it comes out of your mouth, it should not be a quote. Don't go out there and say, oh, Bayinnah Bello said, please. That's not honoring me. I'll be very happy if I hear you say that what comes out of your mouth is not a quote, but a conviction out of your heart through your mouth. An excellent example is Cuba.
That's right.
And that's what most of us don't know how to do. Most of us go into a either or. Well, I'm against the white man. I don't want anything. I'm going to walk bare feet because the white man made the shoes. I'm going to walk naked because the white man made the clothes. I'm going to sit on the floor because the white man made the chairs. Okay. If you want, that's all right. But there's another way. You could learn from the chair he has made and make your own chair that fits your big behind. You can make your own whatever using the technique. The principle is forever. It's universal. It belongs to nobody. This white man that you're busy giving him credit for everything, he went all around and stole from all of us. Most often he's bringing back things he took from you. He brings it back to you and you say, whoo, he's a genius. No. Yeah. You're not gonna, don't say, I'm not gonna. No, go. Learn. Study. But don't spit it out like a parakeet. No. Take it in. Knead it down. Make a dough with your own experience, with your own reality. And then when you're gonna speak about it, you're gonna bring out your conviction, your vision, your point of view. According to Dr. So-and-so, please. I know they condition us in the schools because they don't want us to say nothing and say, well, where did you get that information? And they condition you that continuously you got a name. Dr. So-and-so say, Dr. So-and-so say. Dr. So-and-so say a lot of stupid things. Even very brilliant so-and-sos say a lot of stupid things. Because all of us are human. For every portion of intelligent things we say, and we, Bayinnah included. And you would do me a favor and an honor if when you look at what I say, when you read what I write, you say, yeah, I agree with her here. Yeah, that's right. This I feel, that's correct. But this one here, no, there the sister she took off. I don't see it. I don't view it that way. I think this way, there you help me. Don't say every word out of her mouth is God's given truth. That's not true. That doesn't exist, this person. So go in. Take all of this, knead it down, make your own, and bring out your thing. I'm always hoping whenever I come before any group, especially when there are younger people here in the group, that one day I hope to sit in the audience and look at somebody who used to come and listen to me and see how this person brings the information they have gathered from all around, bring it inside themselves, and then spit it out, their own conviction, not quotes. This whole quote business is out. Don't tell me what somebody else said. Tell me what you believe, what you're convinced of. And if you speak what you're convinced of, It will make your action, it will give weight to your actions. You will act on what you say. And it will be your conviction acting. And that will give strength to your actions. And our combined action can be a strike or a movement that brings the result that we want. Thank you for your attention. May the force be with you. Your own force.
Thank you very much, sister. Just by way of repeating the announcements. Praying. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the question.
Okay. In a very few words, if there is one revolution we could say was run by women, it is the Haitian Revolution. When you take into consideration, and this is not an exaggeration, Toussaint Louverture, who's a main person, main initiator of all of this, most French official who wrote about him continuously said he fought like a woman. But of course he never said why. The reason is very simple. He was taught to fight by women from Dahomey. That's who trained Toussaint on his fighting skills. Jean-Jacques Dessalines was raised by his aunt Toya, an Amazon from Dahomey, who from the time he was a tiny little boy, his aunt continuously told him, "You must do for this land what I could not do for Dahomey." So the two main people in the revolution of Haiti, trained by women militarily. Besides this, from Toussaint Louverture himself, letters that he wrote, he said every troop was made of 1/3 women. 1/3 of every troop was 1/3 of every battalion, if we could say, was made of women. And there was a large percentage of children also. And Toussaint Louverture still explained, as they would go into attack, the first people to enter the battlefield had to be the women. Because they were more flexible, they would crawl on the ground through the bushes and come very close to the enemy. And then they would start making this very special noise they know how to make with their mouth that would sort of confuse the enemy camp. And it was also the women's job to go to the enemy and remove the cannon. You know, in those days, the cannon was it was a very important instrument. As long as the enemy had cannon and you didn't have, you cannot approach the enemy. It was the women and children's job to go to the enemy's camp, render the cannon unusable. And I tell you, sometimes a mother would take her child and throw it in the cannon's mouth. Or throw herself in the cannon. When you're talking about slaves who would throw themselves inside the cannon's mouth to make it unoperative, these were women doing this. And once one of us would throw ourselves in and make it inoperative, then the French would not bother with it anymore. Then the others would come in and push it out the way and carry it to our camp. That was the women's job. So without any question, the role of women in the Haitian Revolution is not measurable. Besides, this is a general. We have women like Marie-Jeanne, who was in charge of security. Who gave Jean-Jacques Dessalines security? Marie-Jeanne and her band. She had a troop of female only. And Dessalines said himself, "I never feel as secure as when Marie-Jeanne herself is assuring my security." Marie-Jeanne. women officers in the army, Lieutenant Pierrette Jolibois, Lieutenant Sanit Belair, Captain Guillemette Charlot, lots of women. So there was that whole period, revolutionary period, up until Dessalines' death, even into Christophe's rule, women run all kinds of things. The first woman minister of treasure, the first person minister of treasure in Haiti, in free Haiti, was a woman, Afemi Dagui. The minister for finance was a woman. The Dessalines government had a lot of women, and Christophe's government had women. It's after Christophe, with the first mulatto who became president, Haitian, that things turn around. He passed a decree saying that it is forbidden to ask of women, to give to women tasks that make too much demand on their mental and physical capacities. So therefore, from this point on, women are not allowed in a public function, okay? So there's no question about the role of women in Haiti's war. And if I go even further back, with the Arawaks, the first people on the island, there were 5 rulers at the time of the arrival of the criminals from Europe, and 1 woman among them, Anakaona. Of the 5 rulers, she's the one who lasted longer, who fought them longer, and they were unable to capture her militarily. And that's why Ovando wrote to Spain and said, he has tried everything militarily to capture this woman, impossible. He must be allowed to use ruse. And that's how they pretended they wanted a peace treaty, and then in the peace treaty, when she went for the peace treaty, and they grabbed her, set fire, and that's, peace treaties we know all about. We should know all about them by now. Okay? So there is no doubt about the Haitian. But besides Haiti, we need to know all of our history. We are not, I don't know about you, but me, yes, I live in Haiti. I was born in Haiti. Haiti is my country. I have a Haitian passport. But when I'm in Nigeria, I'm Nigerian. When I'm in New York, I'm a Black American. When I'm in Jamaica, I'm Jamaican. The earth is mine. That's my land. And I must know my history wherever, in every corner where I am. It's important for us to know when we're talking about women in history, we must know about the 3 mamas in St. Thomas, who in the 17th century liberated the islands militarily from the Dutch. And the island stayed free for more than 9 years. They run the island before British, Dutch, and German put together to put these women down. We must know these things. We must know women liberation didn't start in 1960 when we started burning bras. Makeda in Ethiopia, in Saba, she was a woman ruler who came after 3,000 years of uninterrupted rule by women. In her country, they could not imagine that a man could rule a country because they felt, first of all, they hadn't seen it. They've always known a woman ruling the country. And second, they felt with the natural talents of women for details, men did not have what it takes to run a country. That's why it was the business of woman. Yes. It's very, logical that the way they viewed these things. Now, so we have, if we take Dahomey with a female army and a male army, the male army is in the business of protecting the king and the nation and making expansion. The male army's job was the day-to-day policing of the population and fighting defense. Each had their own role. But in all of our societies, all over Africa, there has never been this concept that women can't, and women don't, or women are less than. No. We are different. We have to know our own forces. Why 2 armies? Very simple. Women don't have their strength same places or in the same way as men. Men will be stronger, easily develop strength from the upper body. Women, their strength is more easily developed from the lower body. So, if I become a policewoman in today's police force, they're going to teach me to fight like a man. I'm never going to be equal to any man on that police force. I cannot be. Because the force they're asking me, the part that they're asking me to put into play, are not the ones that are natural to me as a woman. I can be equal or better to any man when I know how to fight as women do, naturally. Not learning to fight as a man. It's like you ask a dog to be like a cat. Okay? So that's why it is, we've always seen in African traditional societies, women are equal to men, but each have their own role. They have their times where they must be separate. The women must get together to get certain things done. The men get together to get other things done. And then there are specific places where we're going to come together to do a specific thing. Okay? But it doesn't mean separate. But the white men usually say, you see? Yeah, women one side, men the other. Oh, that's racism. No, they have another word for it. Sexism. Thank you. Please, let's not get into this kind of crap. Question.
What is the black community doing? Can you give us an update?
Sorry. Brother Nooney asked me to show you. We have 2 pamphlets in the back. 2 lectures that I've given. This is the most recent, the one I gave yesterday. The one that I was aided by farmers in my country to write. And they are available in the back, $5 each.
Can you give us an update on the struggle in Haiti and
Haiti, thank you.
I'm sorry. And give us an update on what is the black community doing, applying pressure for Francois to go back to face trial in Haiti.
Oh, there is no such thing as far as I know.
No?
There is nobody really working at in this. People have seen, first of all, people are extremely disappointed. Back home. Extremely disappointed. Kept hungry, very hungry. When you're hungry, you can't think right. There are a lot of things that you cannot do. Without jobs, stress. Even your sister right here came in as a ball of nerves. Was not very certain that she would make it to the plane a couple of days ago. So, you're seeing a refreshed Bayinnah. If you'd seen me Thursday night, you probably wouldn't have recognized me. So, but there isn't much of a thing. There's a lot of talk. But listen, it's very difficult when a few things that we lived very recently. When the U.S. went in, they claimed this whole occupation was to stop the coup, arrest the people who are doing this, and bring justice and all this other crap. Okay. They've gone in, stopped the coup. Okay, let's say yes, it stopped. Who did they arrest? Which big leader? Did they arrest Cedras? No. Gave him $80 million to go enjoy himself away from the country. Panama or something like that. Michel Francois, living well, someplace, Colombia or wherever. B&B, same thing. Constant, proofs about the killing that this man has done, even on television. You almost don't need a court to judge the man. You know what happened to him, right? So why is somebody going to be interested in putting pressure on the American government to bring Michel Francois to justice? All the documents that they they found from the FRAP office. FRAP was the official force organization which was out there slaughtering people by thousands, paid by the United States of America. Okay. Once they take the documents, what did they do with them? The U.S. took the documents for observation. And upon close observation, they decided to black out certain parts of the documents and to return them to the Haitian government after much trouble, many months, only after they had blocked out almost 70% of the text. What is this? And you want somebody to be interested in putting pressure? No. There isn't much going on at home on this. On the outside, there are a couple of lawyers, probably it's good business or nice PR to say that they're working on this thing, but probably nothing that will end up anywhere. Probably more media thing than anything else. Question. You're welcome.
Thank you for a wonderful lecture.
Thank you, sister.
I would like to know, 21st century is upon us. Should we arm ourselves? I think the 21st century is going to be very critical. There's going to be a lot of different changes going on around in America and abroad.
Do you think 21st century is anything different from the 20th century? Or the 18th or the 19th?
No.
For us? No. I don't think we have to have things like the 21st century. You know, hey, the centuries have always come and gone. And anyway, 21st century is by his calculations. Yeah. What do I know? For all I know, my people have been here maybe for 40,000 years. So I'm not into no 21st century, you know. Hey, that's not my problem, 21st century. But I do believe that we need to be serious about changing the conditions we're in. And as black people, we need to get serious about looking at ourselves, speaking the truth to ourselves, knowing ourselves, loving ourselves, respecting ourselves, and living defensively. You must love yourself, knowing that nobody else does. You must love yourself. If the whole world say whatever they want. You see, the trouble with the whole politics will have no value really for us if it wasn't for the fact these people are always up front and they represent us. Every time we talk about a Jean-Claude Duvalier or Mobutu or any other jerk that they created, which is not us, they created their monsters. They fed them, entertained them, protected them for as long as they could. And then in the end, they take them and put them up front. Oh, look, another black nigger. See how they are? Here's what they did. Here's this, here's that. They are attacking us every time. ABC has a special on how wicked this or that black leader was. It is really about us. It's to make us weak, to make us not trust each other, to make us not be able to have a leader that you will put all your backing behind and go forward with. It's a well-designed program. You have to see through that. It doesn't mean they didn't do the crimes that they are accused of. Yes, they did. But they did it with U.S., France, England's plan, U.S., France, England's weapons, U.S., France, England's money, clothing, everything. Mobutu robbed Zaire. But where did he spend the money? In France, in Switzerland, in Belgium, in the United States. All the property he bought is where? In their place. So who's going to benefit from the raping that Mobutu did? Not you, not me, not the average man from Zaire or ex-Zaire today. No. But the white man is a beneficiary all the time. Every time you hear a dictator someplace, know that it was somebody working for them, working against you. We don't want to sit and parade this. That's not our best picture. That's our picture, though. I cannot deny Mobutu is me. Jean-Claude Duvalier is me. I cannot deny it. I must face up to that. Because as long as I say, well, it's Duvalier, one day, if I'm placed in the same position, I will find myself doing exactly the same thing while I'm blaming Duvalier. No, I must know the facts, and I must protect myself. But for my children, I don't need to constantly talk about Duvalier and Mobutu and all this other crap. What is important is that we know they were forged by him. They are his constructions, his fabrications, and that's not the way for me to live. And I must teach myself every day to love me, because if I love me, I will have to love you. If I love me, I cannot not love him. Because he is me and I am him. You are me and I am you. I must love and protect you. And for our children, we must put our best forward. That's why it's important for history to find the great things that our people did in the past and put that in front of our children, so they have an image of great black women, great black men, so they can aspire to be. Not constantly put in front of them the Duvaliers and the Mobutus. Those are the white man's trash. He can keep them, put them in his own history books. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of trash written about it. It's what they write about it is usually the Hollywood version. You know, stick the pin in the doll, and somebody has a stomach pain, and, you know, a whole bunch of nonsense. I don't say that these things cannot happen, okay? But the way it's presented, it's not presented with any way that you can understand what's going on. You could do anyone who is truly into himself and who has the forces that are ours, that live in us. I don't have to stick a pin in a doll to give you a stomach pain. If you have treated unjustly, I can sit anywhere, meditate, and deal with you. We all have this power. It's not a special power. It's that most of us don't know how to tap within and deal with this. Sound is energy. With energy, you create matter. I'm sure you've seen children people call Porky. This is my little Porky. Porky, come here. Porky, da-da-da. Go to your mommy, Porky. What do those children look like? They're not very attractive. But the mothers don't understand. When they took this 3-month-old baby and they started calling it Porky, 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 they created the pig that they don't like today. Because with your words, words are sound, sounds are energy. We call ourselves niggas. We call ourselves all kind of trash that this jerk first gave us. And then, you know, with all the adjectives, you know, niggas are. We say it continuously. We are reproducing it continuously. We need to stop. You don't agree with what a brother is doing? I don't agree with what this brother is. You don't need to give him no name. You don't need to put all kinds of negative adjectives on him. Because whether you know it or not, the force is in you. And it works. That's a science. Okay? Now, Vodun has established the different principles. The first principle is identifying who you are. If you don't know who you are, you'll never make the right choices for yourself. You will never be content and at peace with yourself. If you're not at peace with yourself, you can't be a good fighter. You'll be too troubled. You'll be too confused. You are easily deterred. You come here with good intention. Yeah, I want to be part of the fight. I'm going to join the brothers. And you come in. But it takes almost nothing. A bean pie. And you're going to sell out everybody. It's not your fault. You just don't know who you are. The basic work was not done. Okay? So start to work. Anybody who starts learning themselves will develop all the forces, the power, the puissance that is in us. Then you are qualified to to take a partner, to join with groups, to do anything. But as we stand right now, we're not qualified. If we don't know who we are, we don't know ourselves, not even materially. Again, learning from the peasants. One peasant asked me, "Did you pee this morning when you got up?" And I thought, what kind of question is this? Boy, see, this man didn't go to school. I said, "Yes, I did." "What color was it?" "What you mean, what color was it?" "Color, regular color." I said, "You see, knowledge of self begin by knowing your body. What goes in and what goes out. What goes out is an indication as to the state of your health. If you do not know the natural color of what you eliminate, how can you know when you're not well? Because that's the first indication. If you have a fever, the color of your urine will change. If you have stomach problems, before your stomach starts to hurt, before you do this, before you do that, the color will change. You don't need a doctor to tell you you have gas. The minute you go, if it doesn't go to the bottom of the bowl, it stays up there and float, it's obvious. You have major gas problem. And you must know what to eat and what to drink that will eliminate the level of acid in your digestive tract. But if you get up from there as if that's not you, yes, we must deal with our everyday reality. So get into knowing our body. Your eyes, they change color all the time. You don't need to wait until they're red, bright red, and everybody's saying, "What's wrong with your eyes, child?" Before you're going to do something about it. Your gums, they tell you a bunch of things about yourself. Okay? So let's love ourselves, know ourselves. Look at yourself. Don't hide it. Your gray hair, just flaunt it, baby. Don't paint it. These are facts of life. Accept yourself. Okay? As I said, often people, at home, it's the in thing. Nobody has gray hair. I'm one of those weird things from outer space. And people say, "Well, why don't you do something? I mean, you're very pretty, Bayinnah, but if you would just," and sometimes the word can't quite come out. I said, "You see, I have earned every single white hair you see on my head on the battlefield. There is no way I'm going to get rid of one of them." So accept ourselves. Love, that's loving. Knowing self, that's loving. When you know self, there is no limit as what you can do. L'Ouverture was a legba. Dessalines was an ogu. Two characters who shouldn't get along because they're so different. Dessalines, the ogu, is always ready to go. He's always in a hurry. He's always ready to move. Legba has 1,000 words to say something that could be saying 3 words. And he will, when Legba speaks, we all in this room, we could be fighting. We fight, we don't agree, I don't agree with him, he don't agree with him, nobody agrees. Legba comes in and speak, we all agree with Legba. Because the way he said what he said, we each found what we wanted out of what he said. That's one of his talents. So I must, if Ogun want to crush Legba and take over where Legba is, the land, he will fail in what he's going to do. Because the space would not have been prepared. Because Legba's job, Legba's talent is there to prepare the road for Ogun. Ogun must wait his turn. But you must know who you are. You must know who you are. There isn't a knowledge greater than the knowledge of self. No, nowhere. The tree makes a beautiful mango. The mango tree will make beautiful mangoes. The better that tree knows the reason I exist is to make mangoes. The beautiful flower knows that it has come, even if it's only for one day. If you're a gorgeous flower, but it's only, you said, well, it only lasted a day. That's all it was meant to be. It only lasted 6 hours. That's all it was. It came here to be this beautiful thing for 6 hours. That's it. And it accepts this. It doesn't wish to last 1 minute longer. We must do the same thing. Some of us in this, thank you, in this battle, we are only here to speak one word. You only came into existence to go, hey, excuse me. Crispus Attucks. What do you know about Crispus Attucks?
First fool to die for some crackers.
All right, that doesn't matter. Don't call my brother a fool, I'm sorry. All right. What did he do?
Threw some rocks and some crackers and got shot.
All right. That's all he existed for. He did his job. That's why 200 years later you're talking about him. You see? He did the one thing he came to do. He did it, and he was gone. A 15-minute flower. But yet, 200 years later, here we are. Oh yeah, Crispus Attucks. Crispus Attucks. You don't know what your 30-second or whatever it is, your mission is. Mission doesn't mean I have to be the leader of blah, blah, blah and last 150 years. No. Right now we have a situation in Ghana. Jerry Rawlings has been the president of Ghana for a number of years. I don't remember anymore. 15, 17 now? Okay. Has done a beautiful job. Wonderful things in Ghana. But you know why he's going to fail? He's not going to know when it's time to go. And what will happen? At the end, everything wonderful he did will no longer be seen, will no longer be appreciated. And people will see him as just another military man who took power and did all the crap that everybody else did. And it's not true. And it's too bad. Jean-Bertrand Aristide, he's a Legba. Did a beautiful job. But he didn't know. He should have died and not returned. Yes. He wants more time. Your time is over. You have done your job. You raised the dead, 7 million dead people. You made them believe. Then you should die and live forever in their hearts. Yes, and yet tomorrow we will hear all kinds of terrible things about him. And that's too bad, because that will be bad for us. We must know ourselves and know ourselves well enough to know when our time is up. Toussaint Louverture was a great man and a wonderful Legba, because he knew everybody came and tell him, that's a trap. The white man is going to get you. He said, I got to go anyway. He went. Yes, they grabbed him. Yes, they carried him to France. Yes, they locked him up in jail. Yes, they opened off the roof and let the snow come in and eat the man alive. But he had done his job. And he left a proper space for Ogun to come in and finish the job. We must know when to go. We must know when to come. When you know yourself, you cannot try to buy more time. Because what is more time for you is bad for the collective. Because the good is what is good for us all, not what is good for me. And when I get what I want, then I put all of us in a mess. So, learn who you are. Concentrate. Look at yourself. Face up to yourself. And you will see, you will not have to go into this books and that book and this person. A lot of things. And if there's one book to guide you as far as Vadum is concerned, Divine Horseman is the only worthwhile book in English. All the rest is Hollywood trash by Maya Deren. Divine Horseman by Maya Deren. There's the book and there's the video. Divine Horseman.
Where did you get it?
There's a place called GDN. I forget the name of the. On Merrick Boulevard. In Queens.
We probably got the story. D&J.
Okay. All right.
Jersey, like Indian bookstore or?
I don't know. Maybe also Head Start in Brooklyn. Huh?
Local community responded to the news of the brother Abner Louima when they heard. And what was the response? Because I understand they had some Haitian policemen from the New York City police force who were actually training the local forces. And of course, they had to bring them back in order. What was the local reaction?
Bad news in Haiti?
Blackout, whiteout.
Was no news in Haiti. When it finally came out, I called so many stations at home, telling them, what is this? I'm listening to the news and you're not even mentioning Louima? Don't you know? Well, yeah, I was thinking that we have something on that. Well, probably tomorrow's news, something. Anyway, I think it was something like at least 4 days after everything had gone, that one or two stations timidly announced that a brother who might be Haitian was brutalized by New York City police. Okay? It was mostly through people who knew about it, knew from people calling their families, and the news came like this. But no, nothing major. But I could tell you, on the other hand, we had to tolerate hours and hours of Lady Diana died.
The royal breeder. The royal breeder.
All the flowers and flowers and flowers.
Please.
Don't forget the song.
Yes, sir.
To the Million Man March, and I would like to know how you think that it responded to the Women's Million Man March. Or did it reach them? Did it have an effect, or a profound effect on that?
No. Let me tell you, we are very advanced in Haiti. We're not into all that crap, Million Man March and all this other stuff, the black this and black that. Yeah? We're very advanced. We're into, right now there's a station, a private station in Haiti that is playing Playboy Station. We get special programs on lesbian something night or whatever it was, that's the kind of crap. The national TV, the new director of the national TV has announced in big pomp that he's going to really revamp the station. We're going to have wonderful things. Very soon we'll start having Dynasty, we'll start having, I don't know, All My Children or whatever. That's what's happening. Yeah. The person who is informed is not informed from, anyway, right now, let me tell you, in the past 18 months, we had about 14 radio stations. Between when I first went home and now, 18 months later, we now have 52 radio stations. With the 52 radio stations, you probably cannot find 6 stations where they speak Haitian. When you turn on the radio, if you don't want to hear American music, you're just not going to hear music. Okay? These are facts. So, excuse me? Well, they do regularly, but you see, even that's not the solution. The problem is not the building. See, after we burn it down, we still have to send outside, to import the iron, the cement, everything you need to rebuild. Then you have all this rubble there for a long time that can hurt children, that is eyesore, everything you want. Not the solution. Problem is you gotta get up here and implode it from inside. We have to stop the burning down. We do this, Haiti is very, very quick. Haitians are good and quick at this. Burn things down. We did a lot of burning after Duvalier, before we would bring Duvalier down, and after he left, we did a whole bunch of burning and destruction. Didn't bring us to nothing better. We had Nanfi. To bring down Nanfi, we did a lot of burning and killing again. Didn't bring us no place. We had Avril. After Avril, we did more burning and killing. Brought us nowhere. And even when we got somebody who was someone who had the aspirations of the people in him, they snatched him away. We were not smart enough to put the right structure around him to keep him in. We got to look at facts. We can't always blame somebody else, or we'll never be stronger. We must look at what we do. Yes, that's true. Washington organized the coup. Washington took the president out. Washington organized the 3 years of slaughtering in order to bring the people to their knees so they could come in with their occupation. But what was our plan? What plan did we have? Should we not have known that a president who speaks like Jean-Bertrand Aristide would be in total danger continuously every second of his life? Shouldn't we not have known that? What plan did we have to protect him? None. What plan did we have to protect his ideas? None. What plan did we have that if he was taken out of the country, we would still continue to govern underground? Nothing. So, you have no plan, I have a plan, my plan will succeed. Okay? And he is working so well. Bring him out, transform, retrain, I don't know, made the new version, brought the new version back, we clap, wonderful, he's back. He can't speak like he used to. He don't act like he used to. We're happy. He's here. No. We must have a plan. People who know themselves always have a plan. You have a plan, and you have an alternate plan to this plan, and you have an alternate plan to your alternate plan. That's how people who know themselves act. But if we're just a leaf, a dead leaf out there, then the wind blows us anywhere it wants to, and then we're always surprised and unhappy to where we end up. That's where we at now. We gotta be for real. We gotta take everything serious. My children, today, all three of my boys have a master's degree. They're all running their lives. As a matter of fact, if it wasn't for one of them, I wouldn't be here today because I didn't have the money to buy the ticket. Okay. But these children spent almost 2 years without going to school. When I didn't feel the schools in the neighborhood could do what I want for my children, I kept them home. But when I kept them home, I had to go to work. And when I come home, I had to be a teacher in the house for 3 or 4 hours to 4 brats. 4 wild ones. Because 4 children spending all day in the house by themselves. Okay? But almost 2 years, I kept them. And people were very furious with me. Oh, can you do this? You can da-da-da-da-da. Everybody finished school. Everybody did their lives. The 2 years out of school was probably the best 2 years for them. Okay? I always make it my business not to let somebody else bring my children into learning to read. Of course, I have an advantage. I'm a teacher. So I believe learning to read and toilet training is the same thing. Because the way you initiate the child's education is vital to everything that will happen to him later. So I train them, teach them how to read, just as I start doing the toilet training. They learn to read. And all fundamental things they'll know at home first. Must educate our children. We must.
Thank you. I love that crazy though.
When they're asking for toys, Christmas gifts, I have never bought a Christmas gift for any of my children. When they started raising havoc on the house, well, mommy, everybody else has da-da-da-da. Because at a certain age, no matter how you start them young, at a certain age, they want to be like everybody else. So they'll start putting pressure on you. Say, okay. You want to know what Christmas is all about? Say, well, everybody does it, mommy. Even if, we know there's no, but, okay. I'm going to give each one of you $40. We're going to go to the store a couple of days before Christmas. And you will be free to buy whatever you want for your $40. But I'm going to tell you, if you're smart, you're not going to spend your money. You're going to wait after, and we're going to come back to the same store, and you're going to see how much you can buy for your $40. I never had any more complain about no Christmas. It's true. We must take seriously. You see, if we come to 1,000 conference, to all kinds of places and listen to all kinds of things, then tomorrow we go home and do business as usual, it will never have any value. It is up to us to validate the knowledge that we gain. My second son got married last October. He went out with this girl for 8 years or 9 years, for a long time, all through high school, I think, and all of college and whatnot, long time. The girl wanted to get married. My son wasn't all this, and we talked. Every time I talk about it, it says, only problem, mommy. After everything, I know she's sort of a black woman, but she's kind of light, and she's Her hair is not like yours. I had to have a lot of talks with my son. Make him understand. We're not going to get into how kinky your hair is, what degree of blackness your skin is. Is she a black woman or not? She is. If she's a black woman and she believes in Africanness and she is ready to train your children into what you've been raised into, what's your problem? But I understand. My son has been raised in such a way, he loved the girl. He loves the girl. But he hesitated because somewhere there was a confusion as to she wasn't dark enough, she wasn't this enough, she wasn't to him, as he would say, he says, well, I imagine, for all my life, Mommy, you've said, I always said I have a favorite child. This is my favorite son, Sidi. And people would say, you shouldn't say that. No mother should have a favorite. I say, yes, I do have a favorite child. Well, why do you say that? He says, he's the darkest. So he's the one who have the most problem with this society. So he's got to have more love than anybody else. That's my favorite child. So then he felt, I have always benefited from all this love, knowing that you love me because I was the darkest. How can I today turn around and love a woman that is not as dark as me? And I had to work again, do the education again to make him understand, no, we're not going to measure, And this girl, life would have it, she is light to my son, but she's the darkest in her family. And she has suffered from being the darkest among the children of her parents. We have to deal with these things. Those are realities. That is part of the education we women are responsible for. We black women have a duty to raise our children and raise our would-be husbands. We must raise them. Because if you are unaware, African conscious woman, his mother wasn't. So you don't expect the brother to have picked it up like this. So we have to see our role as educator. It's fundamental. We must take, and if anything, when things go havoc in our communities, sisters, I have news for you. You're guilty. The men are unlivable. Who raised them? You and I did. They're jerks. Who raised them? You and I did. They're wife beaters. Who raised them? You and I did. So if we want to save our community, we want to save the collective, we have a duty to educate our would-be partners. And we can't mix. We are African on one side on certain things, and then on the other things, we are white as snow. Can't go that way.
That's right. That's right. It's either this or that.
And there are lots of things about traditional African life and society that most of us can't bear to hear. Jean-Jacques Dessalines, when he met Marie-Claire Heureuse Félicité Bonheur Dessalines, who should become his wife, she posed 4 conditions in order for her to become his wife. He was shocked. When he asked her to marry him, here he is, Général de Division, in all his brilliant uniforms of the French army, with all his... And he asked this woman who's nobody to marry him. She says, no, I don't think I want to get married. What you mean? I'm the future liberator of this country. I say, yeah, but I don't want to get married. I don't think I want to get married. I have a mission in my life. I want to do this, 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 this. Well, if you become my wife, you will have more means to do this. Says, well, I don't think you could agree to the conditions I would want in order to marry. Well, tell me. Number one, you have a lot of children in this country. You would have to recognize each and every one of them. That was her first condition. So you can't be a liberator and have bastards running all over the place. Number two, there are women who have children for you. They can hardly survive. You earning nice salary. They're entitled to a better life. He says, well, when we're married, that will mean you will have less. She say yes, but that will mean we will have more. The last condition she posed, she says, your enemies cannot be automatically my enemies. He was furious. What's wrong with you? I'm running a revolutionary war, and you think I'm going to walk into my house one day and find my enemy sitting in the living room? She said, well, this may happen. But I cannot. Because you say this is your enemy, that I have to say it's mine. No. If there's a good reason for me to talk to this person, who knows? I may have to negotiate between you and him. I can't give up in advance all my power and strength because I'm your wife. This is 1801, this woman was talking like that. And then they want to talk to me about some woman liberation of 1970 or something. I'm sorry, I have great models as to what a woman is. Because I've studied my history. And I strive each day to know myself. In the end, he agreed to all the conditions, recognized all the children. And among his children, there were 4 who no longer had a mother. She said, that's okay. I will recognize them with you. Those will be our 4 children. So you see, the African mind, an African woman doesn't view things like a Western woman. We cannot think in terms of, with my children, if he takes those children, and there is no those children. All these children are our children. And if I want the welfare of anybody, I want the welfare of every child. That's my tomorrow. That's my guarantee into the future. And when I know this, it makes no difference. If I've done my job, the way I'm living today in Haiti, any day you could hear, Bayinnah is dead, 2 bullets, or whatever. It's okay. I have never, one day, when I could, not do what I'm supposed to do. I know that I am born to teach. And I didn't learn it because I went to the man's school. I was a teacher when I was a child at home. At 6, I played teacher. At 9, I taught my grandmother, who was making us recite our lessons and holding the book upside down. I taught her how to read. I always have been a teacher. That's why when somebody tells me, I want you to be the minister of blah, 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 I said, no, that's not my profession. I'm a teacher. And you know, sometimes presidents don't like you to tell them no. So for something as simple as that, you could be dead. But that's okay. I am a teacher. And I'm not going to be something somebody else wants me to be. And that's what you need to do. Know who you are and stand your ground. Because you know how to speak, don't make of you a politician. You need to know how to dance in mud and in feces to be a good politician. I'm not. So identify who you are. Hold on to it. Every day, go back in. Look for more of your strength. Learn how to use it better. Sharpen your skills of knowing and loving self. And our nation will be saved. Great government is made by people who know who they are. Bad government is not a bad somebody, Mobutu is guilty, this one is guilty. No. The nonsense that goes on in our countries goes on because none of us know who we are. None of the leaders know who they are. The day you have somebody who knows who he is, look at Castro. Been wearing this uniform for 30 some odd years. Man, he knows who he is. He has no qualms about it. No. The world is against him. His country progresses. Attempts on his life on a daily basis. Without knowing, he survives. Because he knows who he is. That's right. Once you know who you are, your mission is clear. Okay? So know who you are, so you don't have to go. One day I'm a communist, I'm a capitalist, I'm a communist, but I gotta have a nice car. I'm into Jesus. Jesus, please, Lord, give me a big, big house. No, that's not a Jesus. You're a capitalist. When a priest or pastor is on the television telling you, look how well he's doing because he's got 10,000 diamond rings here and da-da-da-da-da, that's not a priest. That's a capitalist. He just don't know it. But he's in the business of selling Jesus. That's how it's done. Thank you very much. Oh, I'm sorry. Sister has a question. From Ifa. Mm-hmm.
I believe in most of the things you say. You still have that African mind in you. So even though you are working or so, and I want to make a comment about the voodoo. Because when you mentioned voodoo is Africa, also the gentleman there asks you how can he learn about voodoo, right? So he could practice it with his family, him and his family also. We told him to go and buy a book also. I want to assure you all here, because I'm an Igbo woman, you never buy a book written by any human, whether white, blue, or green, to study voodoo. When you want to learn about voodoo, you go to the source. Where is the source? Africa. You go to this peasant or whatever, the bushman, they teach you. The real voodoo man will never write anything to you. In Africa, whatever we are taught is here. Your mind. Your mind is you. So, you never, whatever anything anybody tells you to go and buy a book or so, for you to study about voodoo, anything you buy is nothing but a trash. If you have your money, you save your money. Any day you ask questions. For you to go to another country, you have to be able to ask questions so you know where they will lead you. They guide you to the real people, because there's a lot of fakes out there. And they will teach you how to practice voodoo. They never go to any human to buy any book or whatever saying you are practicing voodoo. Because you could be mistaught and voodoo will kill you. You have to learn, you have to be guided. Anything voodoo. There's nothing bad about voodoo, but when you mispractice it, you will become so bad and you won't forget. Thank you.
Thank you. I will make one difference for you, one rectification for you. I said first, you may purchase this book that will give you some ideas, all right? But not that the book would teach anyone. The book cannot teach anything, because what we are Vodum. Okay? Vodum is simply a conscious that the spirit is present. So in order to be, you cannot learn that in a book. But a book can guide someone who has no knowledge, you see, until they can go in and find within themselves. Listen, Africa is everywhere Africans are.
gods that he mentioned. Even you can tell because these are Yoruba gods. You have to know how to worship them, practice them also. There's things as a young person that my grandmother know, I don't know. And there's things they want me to know, that they should tell me, and the things that they don't want me to know, I will know. When you say Ogun, you say voodoo here, that's the western part of your listen. What is voodoo? I don't know. That's the
Inside you. Everything is in you. Everything is in you. Certainly, you can learn from... Brother Inuni is asking me again to remind you. The texts are in the bag, okay? In fact, there also you can get some information about it, okay? So, but these, never can anyone learn anything of spirit in a book. That is, no one, that's not, everything we've said here would make you understand that, okay? A book can guide you, give you certain elements for learning, certain elements to initiate you into understanding something. But only experience in the end is going to be what you need, actually, okay? But a book can give you an idea. I want to go to Nigeria, I can buy a book written by anybody. It will teach me Nigeria is a country in West Africa, it has this city, that city, da-da-da-da. It gives me, but I don't know Nigeria for that, right? I could see a map, I could see pictures. I don't know Nigeria. But once I go to Nigeria, I experience Nigeria, okay? And the same is true for anything. No knowledge is ever really acquired from a book, but a book can be a guide to initiate you to anything. All right? Thank you. Most of all, the book that I mentioned, as I said, I think I told you, is the only thing written in English that I would recommend. There are lots of things, but so much poison and so much Hollywood simagry in it that I would never mention them. All right, I do have a small bibliography in the back of this text. Then you have the name of the authors. Okay, and then it says, buy it so you know. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, my sister. See you next week.
Yes. Come back next week.
Oh,